During the graduation ceremony, her best friend slipped something into my hand and said, "Take a look at this." Then she disappeared into the crowd. My girlfriend noticed that I was holding something and quickly asked, "What is that?" The moment she saw it, she burst into tears. I stood there frozen, the small USB drive burning in my palm like a live coal. Around us, thousands of graduates threw their caps into the air, screaming with joy. But I couldn't hear any of it. All I could see was the look on Kennedy's face, her eyes wide with terror, her mouth forming words that never came out. What is this?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the celebration. I didn't know. I had no idea what was on that drive. But something in the way her best friend, Sloan, had pressed it into my hand told me everything was about to change. My name is Daniel. I'm 23 years old, and until 30 seconds ago, I thought I had my life figured out. I work as a junior architect at a firm in downtown Chicago. Nothing fancy, but it pays the bills, and I actually love what I do. Kennedy and I had been together for 4 years, since freshman year. We'd survived long distance when she studied abroad, family drama, broke college budgets, everything. I was planning to propose that summer. The graduation ceremony was held at the university's main stadium on May 18th, 2024. It was one of those perfect spring days, 75 degrees, cloudless sky, the kind of weather that makes you believe good things are coming. Kennedy's parents were sitting 3 rows behind me. Her little brother kept trying to get the perfect Instagram story, and I was holding the bouquet of sunflowers I'd bought that morning because they were her favorite. Sloan had appeared out of nowhere, just as we were standing for the processional. She and Kennedy had been roommates sophomore and junior year, practically inseparable. But something had shifted between them recently. Kennedy would change the subject whenever I asked about her. Got weird when Sloan's name came up. "Take a look at this," Sloan had said, pressing the drive into my hand. Her eyes were red, like she'd been crying. She deserves better than lies. Before I could ask what she meant, she'd vanished into the crowd of navy and gold gowns. Now Kennedy was staring at that drive like it was a loaded gun. "Is that from Sloan?" she asked, her voice shaking. I nodded. She reached for it, but I pulled my hand back instinctively. Something in her desperation made me want to know what was on it before I let it go. "Daniel, please," she said, and now tears were actually streaming down her face. "Please don't look at it. Just give it to me." Around us, people were starting to stare. Her mother called out, asking if everything was okay. "Why are you crying?" I asked quietly. "If there's nothing on here, why are you crying?" She didn't answer. She just looked at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Pure, raw fear mixed with something that looked almost like guilt. That's when I knew. Whatever was on that drive, it was going to destroy us. Update 1. I didn't watch it at the ceremony. I couldn't. Kennedy's parents wanted to take us all to dinner at this expensive steakhouse downtown to celebrate, and I spent the entire meal with that USB drive in my pocket, feeling like it was radioactive. Kennedy barely touched her food. She kept excusing herself to the bathroom. The third time she did it, her mom leaned over and asked if she was feeling all right. "She's probably just overwhelmed," I said automatically, playing my role. Big day, but I was dying inside. Every smile felt like a mask. Every congratulations felt like a lie. After dinner, Kennedy asked if we could talk alone. We walked to Millennium Park, where we'd had our first date 4 years ago. It was nearly 9 o'clock, the sun setting over the lake, turning everything golden and beautiful in that way that makes Chicago feel like the center of the universe. "I need to tell you something," she started, and my stomach dropped. "Is it about what's on the drive?" She closed her eyes. "Daniel, I love you. You have to know that before anything else. I love you so much. Then tell me the truth." She was quiet for a long time. A street performer was playing saxophone nearby, the notes drifting over the sound of traffic and distant conversation. "Last summer," she finally said, "when I did that internship in New York." I remembered. She'd been gone for 10 weeks, working at some marketing firm in Manhattan. We'd FaceTimed every night, texted constantly. I'd even surprised her with a visit in July. What about it? I met someone. The world tilted. I actually felt dizzy, like the ground had shifted beneath my feet. "You met someone," I repeated numbly. It didn't mean anything. It was stupid and wrong, and I ended it after 2 weeks. I swear to God, Daniel, I ended it. "Who?" His name was Blake. He was a senior associate at the firm. 2 weeks. She'd cheated on me for 2 weeks and never said a word. I thought about all those FaceTime calls, how normal she'd seemed, how she'd told me she missed me and couldn't wait to come home. Is that what's on the drive? I asked, my voice strange and distant to my own ears. Proof? I don't know, she whispered. Sloan found out about it last month. I thought she understood, thought she'd keep it between us. But she's been acting weird ever since, saying I needed to tell you, that you deserve to know. She's right. I did deserve to know. I was going to tell you, Kennedy said desperately. After graduation, I was going to tell you everything. Bullshit. She flinched. I'd never spoken to her like that before. You were never going to tell me, I said. If Sloan hadn't done this, I would have spent the rest of my life not knowing. Daniel, how many times? What? How many times did you sleep with him? She looked away. I don't think. How many fucking times, Kennedy? I don't know. Maybe 10? 15. I actually laughed. It came out harsh and bitter. 15. Jesus Christ. I'm so sorry, she sobbed. I'm so sorry. It was the biggest mistake of my life. I looked at her, really looked at her, and realized I didn't know who she was. This person who could lie to my face for almost a year, who could say I love you while hiding something that massive, was a stranger. I'm going home, I said. Please, can we talk about this? There's nothing to talk about. I turned and walked away. She called after me, but I didn't stop. I just kept walking, past the bean, past the tourists taking selfies, past couples holding hands and laughing, blissfully unaware that everything can change in a single moment. Update 2. I drove straight to my apartment, a studio in Wicker Park that I'd been so proud to afford on my own. I poured myself 3 fingers of whiskey, sat down at my desk, and plugged the USB drive into my laptop. There was only one folder on it, labeled The Truth. Inside were text message screenshots. Hundreds of them. They started in June of last year and continued through. I had to check the dates twice because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. March 2024. 2 months ago. Kennedy, I miss you so much it physically hurts. Blake, then leave him. We've been over this. Kennedy, I can't. His family loves me. We have all these plans. Blake, plans you don't actually want. Kennedy, that's not fair. Blake, you told me you loved me. Kennedy, I do love you. God, I do. But Daniel, he's safe. Blake, safe is boring. Kennedy, safe is real. What we have isn't real. Blake, it felt pretty real when you were in my bed last weekend. I had to stop reading. I thought I was going to be sick. Last weekend, she'd told me she was visiting her cousin in Milwaukee. I kept scrolling. There were pictures too. Them together at restaurants, at some rooftop bar, in bed together with her head on his chest. In one photo, she was wearing the necklace I'd given her for our anniversary. But the screenshots weren't even the worst part. There were bank statements showing transfers from Kennedy's account to someone named Vanessa Hale, Blake's ex-girlfriend, apparently. Sloan had included a note explaining that Kennedy had been paying Vanessa $2,000 a month to keep quiet about the affair. Vanessa worked at the same firm and had found out about them in August. $2,000 a month. For 9 months. I did the math. $18,000. Kennedy worked part-time as a barista and did freelance social media management. There was no way she had that kind of money and less. My stomach sank as I remembered the conversations we'd had about her parents helping her pay off her student loans early. How she'd been so grateful, so relieved. How she'd said it was such a blessing to start her career without debt. She'd been using her parents' money to cover up an affair. I don't know how long I sat there, just staring at the screen. Eventually my phone started buzzing. Kennedy calling, texting, leaving voicemails I didn't listen to. Around midnight, my roommate Caleb came home from his own graduation celebration and found me still at my desk, surrounded by empty glasses. Dude, what happened? He asked. Kennedy's been blowing up my phone asking if you're here. I showed him everything. Holy shit, he breathed, reading through the messages. Holy shit, man. I'm so sorry. She lied to me for a year. I said. My voice sounded dead, even to me. A whole year. What are you going to do? I had no idea. Update 3. I didn't sleep that night. At 6 in the morning, I finally responded to Kennedy's messages with a single text. We're done. Lose my number. She showed up at my apartment at 7:30. I wouldn't let her in. Please, she begged through the door. Please, just let me explain. You've been fucking him for a year, I said flatly. You used your parents' money to pay off his ex. What else is there to explain? Silence. Then, you looked at the drive. Yeah, I looked at the drive. All of it. Daniel, please open the door. No. I love you. I know you don't believe me, but I love you. I made terrible mistakes, but we can fix this. We can go to counseling, we can. There is no we anymore. I heard her slide down to sit against the door. She was crying. These awful, gut-wrenching sobs that once would have broken my heart. He doesn't even want me, she said after a while. Blake. He broke things off in March. That's why it ended. Not because I chose you, because he didn't want me anymore. Somehow, that made it worse. She'd only been faithful to me by default, because her affair partner had dumped her. My parents don't know, she continued. They think we're still together. They're planning this big summer trip for the four of us, remember? The cabin in Wisconsin? Tell them the truth. I can't. It'll kill them. They love you. Should have thought about that before. She was quiet for a minute. Then, are you going to tell them? About Blake, about the money? I hadn't thought about it. Part of me wanted her parents to know who their daughter really was. But another part of me just wanted this whole thing to be over. I don't know, I said honestly. Right now, I just want you to leave. Daniel. Leave, Kennedy. Please. Just leave. I listened to her footsteps retreating down the hallway, the sound of the building's front door closing. Then I finally let myself break down. The next few days were a blur. I called in sick to work, ignored my phone, barely ate. Caleb tried to get me to talk about it, but what was there to say? The person I'd planned to marry had been living a double life, and I'd been too stupid to notice. On day 3, Sloan texted me. I'm sorry it had to be like this, but you deserve to know. Why now? I wrote back. Why at graduation? Because she was going to accept his proposal. I stared at my phone. What proposal? Blake asked her to move to New York with him. He got a job at some big firm there. He wanted her to come with him, said he was ready to make it official. She told me the night before graduation that she was considering it, that she'd been living a lie with you and needed to stop. Then why did she turn him down? She didn't. She was going to say yes. She was going to break up with you after the ceremony, make up some story about needing space or wanting to focus on her career. She was going to move to New York in 2 weeks. I felt like I'd been punched. How do you know all this? She told me everything. We were drunk, celebrating graduation early. She thought I'd support her. When I said she needed to tell you the truth, she got angry. Said I was jealous of her happiness. That's when I knew I had to do something. Thank you, I typed. Seriously. Thank you. You're a good person, Daniel. You deserved better than what she was giving you. Final update. It's been 4 months since graduation. I'm doing better. Not great, but better. Kennedy tried to contact me a few more times in June, but I blocked her on everything. I heard through mutual friends that she did tell her parents we broke up, though she apparently fed them some story about us growing apart and wanting different things. Her mom called me once, in tears, asking if there was any way to fix things. I told her gently that there wasn't, and left it at that. Some part of me still cares about them too much to destroy their image of their daughter. Turns out Blake actually did dump her again in May, right after graduation. She'd been counting on moving to New York with him, had apparently even broken her lease, and he told her he'd gotten back together with Vanessa. So Kennedy ended up moving back in with her parents in the suburbs. I found out from Sloan that Kennedy had a breakdown in July, had to start therapy. Part of me feels bad about that. But mostly, I just feel nothing. I got a promotion at work in August. My firm is working on this incredible project, a mixed-use development in the South Loop, and they put me on the design team. It's the kind of opportunity I dreamed about, and for the first time in months, I feel excited about something. I've been on a few dates. Nothing serious yet, but I'm not rushing. I'm learning to trust my judgment again, to pay attention to red flags, to value honesty above everything else. Caleb says I'm different now, more careful, more guarded. He's probably right. I don't think you can go through something like this without it changing you fundamentally. But maybe that's not entirely bad. Maybe I needed to learn that not everyone who says they love you actually means it. I saw Kennedy once, in September, at a coffee shop near my office. She was with some guy I didn't recognize, laughing at something he said. She looked happy. I left before she could see me. I don't hate her. I thought I would, but I don't. Mostly I just feel sad, for both of us, for what we could have had if she'd been honest, for all the time we wasted on something that was never real. Sloan and I are friends now. She feels guilty about how everything went down, says she wishes she'd told me sooner, before I wasted a whole year. But I'm grateful to her. She gave me the truth when no one else would. That takes courage. I still have the USB drive. I don't know why I kept it. Maybe as a reminder, maybe as proof that it all really happened. Sometimes late at night, I think about all those text messages, about Kennedy lying to my face while texting him from my bathroom, and I feel this rage that threatens to consume me. But then I remember that she's not my problem anymore. Whatever guilt or regret she carries is hers to bear, not mine. Someone asked me the other day if I'd ever trust anyone again. Honestly, I don't know. Right now, I'm just trying to trust myself, to believe that I'll recognize the warning signs next time, that I won't ignore my gut, that I won't settle for someone who treats love like a convenience rather than a commitment. The sunflowers I bought for graduation are long dead. I kept them on my kitchen counter until they'd completely dried out and started dropping petals everywhere. When I finally threw them away, it felt like closing a chapter. I'm 24 now. I've got a good job, a great apartment, friends who actually give a damn about me. I'm okay. Some days I'm better than okay. And if there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's that the truth, no matter how much it hurts, is always better than living a lie. Edit 1. A lot of people have been asking about the $18,000 Kennedy paid to Vanessa. I never told her parents about that specifically, but I did send Sloane's evidence to Kennedy with a message saying she needed to come clean about where that money actually went. No idea if she ever did. Edit 2. Blake apparently got fired from his New York job in October for having inappropriate relationships with multiple employees. Guess some people never learn. Edit 3. I'm not looking for advice or sympathy. I just needed to write this all down to make sense of it somehow. If you're going through something similar, someone's handed you a metaphorical USB drive. I guess all I can say is, look at it. The truth will hurt like hell, but at least you'll know where you actually stand.